the Speeding Bulletin. My name is Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com. This is all the Superman related news that happened during the week May 25th to May 31st, 2012. In movie news, in an interview with Empire magazine, Christopher Nolan talks about his involvement with the Man of Steel movie, saying, "It's Zack's movie, so it'd be a bit rude of me to turn up and say I've got a few ideas now." He added, "I'll be there for whatever Zack wants from me, but it's very much his movie." Warner Home Video released an interview with George Newbern talking about his triumphant return as the voice of the Man of Steel in Superman vs. the Elite, the latest DC premiere movie coming on June 12th. Here's what he had to say about why Superman is such an enduring character.
I think having the good fortune to voice Superman has been a blessing in many ways, just because there's so much of our culture there's so many gray. There's a lot of gray in the world. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of right and wrong, and I think we've idealized the 1950s and 40s as there being sort of Nazis are bad and Americans are good and da da da. And that's obviously a simplified version of good and bad. But what's wonderful about playing Superman is that in this sort of relativistic, moralistic, relative moral world we live in, that there's still this voice that kids love, and people still always go back to Superman, no matter how mouthy we can be in our animated cartoons and how cool and edgy and stuff. People always want to go back to Superman because it's sort of like a true north. You can draw him in a million different ways. You can have different. He can be an anime. He can be realistic. He can be exaggerated in another way. But ultimately, it's the true north. The true magnetic north, I think, that people are attracted to with this character. Check
out the Superman homepage for more from this interview, including some new still shots from the animated film. DC Comics are running a Superman vs. the Elite sweepstakes, giving you the chance to win a Jiffo folding bike. You could also win the animated movie on Blu-ray. Go to Superman vs. the Elite Sweeps.com to enter the contest, which ends on July 6th. Meanwhile, Warner Home Video has announced that the Australian release of Superman vs. the Elite will be on Monday, July 4. Canada.com spoke with Brandon Routh ahead of the launch of his new film Crooked Arrows and asked him how he felt about there not being a sequel to Superman Returns. He said, "I turned down a lot of roles because I thought there was going to be another Superman movie, and I was very, very protective of that image and that character because he doesn't wear a mask." Read the complete interview at Canada.com. His new movie Crooked Arrows is out in cinemas now. In TV news, Superman homepage writer Isaac Frisby has updated our Young Justice animated series episode guide with a summary of the most recent Season 2 episode, Beneath. Isaac has also written his review of this episode, saying, "I would easily put this in my top 3 episodes of this show," and he gave it a 5 out of 5 rating. Cartoon Network and DC Entertainment haven't yet released the episode description for Bloodlines, the upcoming new episode of the Young Justice animated series. But we do know that Bloodlines airs on Saturday, June 2nd at 10:30 AM on Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network and DC Entertainment have announced that the first Justice League of Animals animated short will air this weekend as part of the DC Nation block. When the league's away, the pig will play. Justice League of Animals airs on Saturday, June 2nd during the 10 to 11 AM DC Nation block on Cartoon Network. In the ongoing promotion of this week's Superman Family Adventures comic book, DC Comics showcased 3 pages of proposed character situations put forth by the acclaimed Eisner Award-winning creative team of Art Baltazar and Franco. Check out the Bottled Brainiac, Fairy Supergirl, Fuzzy Saving Cats, Superman vs. Titano, Elastic Lad and Giant Zod Dogs. Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Superman number 9, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who gave it a 4 out of 5, saying, "Surprised I enjoyed this as much as I did considering the past 2 issues." Teen Titans number 9 was reviewed by Sean Morrissey, who said, "After 9 issues and an annual, the Titans are still bouncing around aimlessly with no definitive team structure," and he gave it a 1 out of 5. Sean also reviewed Superman Beyond number 3, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, "I really enjoyed this installment." While Smallville Season 11, Chapter 5 was reviewed by Mark Pritchard, who said, "Lots of new information in this issue," and he gave it a 4 out of 5 rating. Superman comics available this week from May 30th include Batman Beyond Unlimited number 4, DC Nation number 1, Superman Family Adventures number 1, Young Justice number 16. DC Comics presents Superman Supergirl number 1. And Smallville Season 11 Chapter 6 digital comic book is out on June 1st.
Light up your life with these Man of Steel lamps, nightlights, flashlights and light switch plates. Grab this Superman flying motion lava lamp for $104.97. Or how about a Superman logo nightlight for just $9.13. These and more are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop.
In other news, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and DC Entertainment announced Injustice: Gods Among Us, an all-new game in development by award-winning NetherRealm Studios, creators of the definitive fighting game franchise Mortal Kombat. The game is scheduled for release in 2013 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and a Nintendo Wii. It asks the question, what if our greatest heroes became our greatest threat? Episode 89 of Radio KAL, the monthly podcast of the Superman homepage, is now available to listen to. Scotty and I discuss Zack Snyder at LA Hero Complex, all the latest Young Justice animated episodes, Action Comics number 9, Superman number 9, Justice League number 9, Superman Family Adventures, the 2012 Superman celebration and much more. Check it out now at supermanhomepage.com/radio. The annual Superman celebration is taking place across June 7 to 10 in Metropolis, Illinois, and the Superman homepage will once again be holding our meet and greet for members of the Superman homepage to come together. The Superman homepage meet and greet is scheduled for Friday, June 8th at 10:30 a.m. inside Hardee's, located at 601 Ferry Street, which is not far from the Superman statue. There'll be prizes to be won and giveaways for everyone who attends, so be sure and get there for that Superman homepage meet and greet. Superman homepage fans know him as our resident Clark Kent for the annual Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois each year, but Jamie Kelly is so much more. He's an award-winning singer, songwriter and entertainer, and Jamie will be performing live at this year's Superman celebration on Friday, June 8th at 7 p.m. in the Metro tent. That's all the Superman news there was for the week May 25th to May 31st. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. So, the Smallville complete series disc set has recently won an award for Best TV Release of the Year, I guess. It's pretty interesting, considering that it's the longest-running Superman-related series in history. I think it's the longest-running superhero-related television show in history, and that's pretty cool, and I know all the fans are excited about it, and people who really love Smallville for what it was, for what it could have been, for what it had been. Me, I'm on the side of for what it could have been, the promise that it held. I loved the show. I know a lot of you have disagreed with me. Some of you have held vitriol for me for some of the things I've said about Smallville. And let me say this. With the Superman celebration coming up in just a week, you still have time to book some tickets. I'm sure that you can get some space in a hotel room, or maybe bunk with somebody. The message boards and Facebook are teeming with people who are going. There are people looking for roommates. There are people that are going to have a great time there. And if you haven't been, I went in 2008, and it was fantastic. Chloe, our very own Chloe from Smallville, Allison Mack, was one of the guests, along with Ned Beatty, and Noel Neal is there almost every year. I'm not sure if she's going to be there this year. I know she's had some health issues and things over the past few years or so, or maybe months. You know, she is getting up there in age, but she's a very nice lady, and it was fun to meet her, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic to meet the guests this year. How does this connect to what I was talking about, Smallville? John Glover and Cassidy Freeman, both from Smallville, and both welcome additions to that cast when the show was on, will be at the Superman celebration. For me, in the early years of Smallville, that was when it was at its best, and that was when it held the most promise. And the idea, for me, was such a novel idea. It was so cool to possibly see how Clark was going to grow up and become Superman, and how he was going to interact with these other characters, Lex Luthor. And then we met Lionel early in season 1, and initially John Glover was supposed to be kind of a guest star who knew how many times he would be on, and they made him into a much larger role in this series. And I think that that's because he's such a fantastic actor and a great presence on screen. For me, I think my favorite scenes in Smallville involved, Lex would be in his office or in a room doing something maybe a little devious, or maybe actually trying to help at times, and you'd see the shoes of Lionel storming down the hall, and you knew within the next few seconds there'd be a Lionel-Lex confrontation with some of the wittiest, most interesting banter back and forth, and it just made the show so much more dynamic. And when Lionel was on, especially in the early years, when we didn't really know what his deal was, and I guess he went out not with us not knowing what his deal was, but that was for me, that was on the bad side. In the beginning he was mysterious, and he was, but it did seem like he was trying to push his son to be stronger and to be independent. But on the other hand, he definitely seemed like a darker presence in Lex's life, and I think that helped shape Lex into the man he might become one day. Lionel was kind of created for Smallville. Lex had parents, but in many different versions, they died long before he became a grown man, or he possibly took part in killing them. Lex's parents have never really played a large part in the comic book, so that was something that Smallville did, and something that I really appreciated that they had done. It was very interesting to me every time I would see Lionel and Lex on screen. So if you haven't gotten your tickets and you weren't thinking of going, but you have any possibility of doing so, I can't go this year. I'm going to attempt to go next year with the big release of Man of Steel right around the same exact time. I believe it's going to be released on the same weekend of the celebration next week. This time around, you have about a week, and the celebration will begin, and you'll have your opportunity to meet Lionel Luthor, John Glover, and Cassidy Freeman, who played Tess Mercer on the show, who is very, very attractive, of course, and was a very welcome presence on Smallville as well. I think she did a great job. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.